Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear me. I mean, no one's watching anyway, but I haven't done this type of streams in a while, so forgive me if this is just not working out. Because it says it's like it's streaming right now. Is there a way I can check? Let me see. Because I remember when I did this before, you can actually like listen to stream. Let me hold on. Oh wait, I can actually hear myself. Okay. Okay, so I think it is working then. Alrighty then, how's everyone doing tonight? It's Classy Neurotic here. It's been a while since I've done this sort of thing. I have a lot of things to say in my mind, and a little bit about like what I've been up to though. Currently in Spain right now. I'm doing this sort of like research program thing, but I have intentions to return to the States and then apply to medical school and then hopefully still continue to do some content here and there. I still have a lot of like stuff I'm working on, a lot of scripted videos I've been meaning to work on, but I've been busy working, but also, just enjoying my life here, going to the clubs, going to the bars, hanging out with friends. It's probably like one of my last times I'll be able to do this sort of stuff, so, yeah. So, hold on, let me check again to see how my audio sounds like. Okay, it's not that bad actually though. So I don't know if I hope I can make some videos this year. Maybe what I can do is I can do shorts or like Instagram reels that's like shorter type of content so it like doesn't take as long. Um I don't know, I've just been like super busy. And I wish I could have like a better setup as just like my room, my apartment, but not that my last setup was amazing, but even then, like it was, I don't know, I thought it looked better. So I want to talk about what's going on with the ICE right now with ICE raids and also like the ICE protests. Particularly, I want to talk about a man that's like showed up in the news for the past few days, Alex Preddy. So this one hit different. There have been a couple of, I hate to say this, but like a couple of deaths of American citizens. Also the ICE detainees as well. We should talk about because I have some notes about the immigrant detainees first, but I want to talk about Alex Preddy first. But there have been a couple of deaths of American citizens by the hands of ICE. There is Keith Porter, who I think during New Year's he like shot a gun in the air and he was killed by an off-duty ICE agent officer. There's of course Renee Good in Minnesota, who is a mother of three, was in her car. I guess she like blocked traffic and then she was shot, killed by an agent, ICE agent. And then she, of course, like crashed her car into, she was already dead at that point, but she crashed her car. And then they didn't even allow a physician to, check to see like how she's doing. Maybe administer some CPR. Likely she would have died anyway. But, people are saying that, oh, well, we don't know if he's a doctor or not. But if you're in any sort of emergency situation, let's say you're on an airplane and someone says, hey, is there a doctor in the plane that can help? You, of course, gonna go and allow whoever claims to be a medical doctor to administer whatever medical aid in that sort of emergency situation. So with Alex Preddy, he's an ICU nurse that treats combat veterans, or just veterans in general, I should say. I believe he's also involved in research. He was 37 years old at the time. And I have to say, out of a lot of the deaths that's happened this year, this one just hits different. It does. It just hits different. Mainly because I also work in that sort of medical and research field, and I, of course, have aspirations to become a physician. It's hard to, like, not see a video or whatever, like Alex Brady, and like not see yourself, in that sort of environment. Someone who's like dedicated their entire life to saving lives, and then trying to like believe and do what's right, just to ultimately be publicly executed. Now I understand like this one's still very recent. We're still like learning a lot of like what's been going on, and like there's still a lot of information we don't know, but like out of nowhere, DHS and then of course the executive branch is declaring that Alex Pretty is a domestic terrorist, of course, that he was being violent or whatever. Um, but this event was very interesting because this was the event that led to, of course, the retreating of federal forces in Minnesota. It seems that abolishing ICE is becoming a lot more common. I mean, I'm seeing a lot more, at least like Democrats, talking about the possibility of abolishing ICE. Seeing even some Republicans of at least talking about the ability of scaling it back. And there's a poll that found that abolishing ICE is nearly doubled among independent voters. So the fact that like it was a killing of 2 Americans, this was like the catalyst for these like extreme protests. And this happened 4 days before, I believe 4 days before the detainment of Liam Ramos, which I'll talk about a little bit in a sec. But it's pretty clear if we're looking at Renee Good, the video for Alex Pretty, it's hard to see. I'll say this, there isn't that great of an angle to see that happen. We're still learning more about this, but from what we know so far is that there was a woman that was being pepper sprayed, being shoved down. He came in to help her. One of his last words was, "Are you okay?" Then he got tackled and pushed by 5 other officers. He had a gun with him that was, of course, legal, and he had a gun permit for it. He was disarmed, and then later he was beat, and then he was, of course, shot a couple times by the Border Patrol agents. For Renee Good, the video analysis is pretty clear. I mean, she clearly was like trying to get out of the situation. She turned her car to the left, was trying to make a 3-point turn to get out of the scene. And what's really interesting about this is that now that we have all this extra footage, when you hear the footage from the officer, I forgot his name, but like, you hear a dud, and he says, "Whoa," and then he shoots her, and then the car goes off and crashes into another car. Now we know from another angle that like he wasn't actually hit. What happened is he actually slipped on the ice. His wrist basically landed on the was it the windshield or the front of the car? And then at that point he decided to shoot her, and of course he called her like a fucking bitch when he did it. It's just fucking horrible. So with Pretty, we still need more information, but it's pretty clear that he didn't do anything wrong at that moment. I know people are going to bring up the footage from 11 days ago where he was basically taunting, like confronting the federal agents. He spit at them. He kicked the vehicle so much they even broke the taillight. Agents tackled him. There was a gun that was like, it appeared to be visible in his waistband. He was released without arrest, so it seems that at that point they didn't deem him as a threat. This is irrelevant. And even if it was a case that like they decided to shoot him at that point, that it still wouldn't have been justified. I don't know if it's worth maybe showing the video. Let me see. Let's see if I want to pull out this video. We're gonna watch it together. I'll try to do more of these streams. Like, I really want to get back into video editing because I love video editing, but it's just so time consuming and everything. And it's just hard for me to make time for it. But streaming, I can see why streaming is a lot more popular. Let me see. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this though. Okay. Let me see. How do I share this? I'm such a fucking boomer with like all this fucking. Hold on. Okay. We can do it like this. If I actually like would had like actual people like watching this, I would put some chats here. But there's no one chatting, so what's the point? I remember like I was like so good with this before. I don't know if I want to share the audio. I'll put it low, whatever.
He was fatally shot by Border Patrol officers in Minneapolis on January 24th. In the footage, filmed on January 13th, Pretty is seen here, shouting expletives and spitting at a federal immigration agent's car during a protest. He then kicks the agent's vehicle, breaking a tail light. The agents exit their vehicle, and a scuffle takes place.
Damn. And I think you can see the gun there, right?
Pretty, on the ground, loses his coat. When he gets back up, what appears to be a hand
there it is.
Visible in his waistband. At no point do the videos show Pretty reaching for the gun, and it is unclear whether the federal agents saw it. Agents then deploy smoke canisters and drive away. In another video, a bystander can be seen checking if Pretty is okay. Are we all okay?
Yeah.
The new videos immediately rekindled the national debate about Pretty's death.
What debate over this, dude? Like, it was a fucking execution.
On January 13th, in no way justified the officers fatally shooting Pretty on the 24th. Homeland Security Investigations is reviewing the new videos and the incident. It's not known if any of the officers involved in the altercation on the 13th were also there when Pretty was killed.
Okay. I don't know if you guys heard any of that. But yeah, so like that's what happened, right? I don't think any of that justifies him getting shot. It just doesn't. I think this is like pretty freaking horrible. Everything that was said before, you know, regarding Obama or Biden, that, oh, we're gonna like live in this authoritarian state, that they're gonna unleash like the, you know, the military on citizens, and oh, it's gonna be this like they're gonna put like martial law and that sort of stuff. Like, this is actually what's going on right now. Maybe they haven't initiated the Insurrection Act or martial law just yet, but it seems that we are in that state where like we're literally sending federal agents into our cities. Innocent Americans are getting fucking shot and killed just for expressing, you know, their views, just for people sort of having their constitutional rights just being violated at this point, though. And there is some pushback from the right. Apparently, a lot of gun rights groups are looking into this, including the NRA. I think there's like another group, I think it's like Gun America organization or something like that, that's like actually like looking into this. It seems that more and more people are looking into this, which I think is good to be said. It's an interesting note about Alex Pretty. So I was reading the article from the New York Times. It says here, Sarah Gatvier, an associate professor of psychology and neuroscience at Duke, who studies identity and perception, wrote an email that Mr. Pretty's profile fit widely held cultural cues associated with respectability and being non-threatening. Because he was being non-threatening in the video where he got shot. I mean, the last thing he did was trying to like tend to the aid of one of the protesters. She added those cues lowered resistance to empathy among people who might otherwise dismiss criticism of ICE. And the more you read about him, it's like, okay, he has no criminal record. It's for some traffic violations. He, again, was this guy that was essentially a hero for treating nurses. He was a nurse that treated veterans every day at the hospital, though. And he was just like, a normal guy that was just trying to do the best that he can in this world. And that's, I can't help but like see myself in something like that. Like, I want to help people. I see how, devastating these like medical conditions are. I don't want to talk about it too much about my experience without revealing too much, but I've seen clinical like neurological disorders, and it's quite devastating, right? I don't want to push me to really go into this field because neurological disorders often, a lot of these, whether we're talking about dementia or neurodegenerative disorders, right, is a lot of times there just aren't any good treatments or aren't any treatments at all for the cases of Alzheimer's disease or other types of dementia. And that sort of like devastation that there's nothing we can do, that sort of like helplessness that we have, pushes me to be a better researcher and also to then one day become a medical doctor. But in the meantime, it's hard enough as it is, like navigating this world with all these, incurable diseases, is people's rights being taken away left and right. And of course, the sycophants are, sycophanting. I mean, you have Tim Pool now saying that, like, what? That, oh, we're not licking the boot because we are the boot? Like, I can't imagine someone on the left saying something like that and then him just, like, letting it, like, fly by. Like, that's just so... The unapologeticism that comes from the sort of, like, major right-wing commentators just, like, really freaking irks me. Okay. I'm gonna talk about the immigrants now. But yeah, this killing of Alex Brady really, it's had an effect on me, and I don't think I can just like go about like my day without thinking about it. I really worried about what's gonna happen to everyone else back home. I don't know how I'm gonna be when I have to like readjust to everything. It's stressful. So, the reason why these apps like Alex Brady and Renee Good even happened the first was because people, of course, are protesting the sort of inhumane actions of ICE. So last year, there was someone who was killed by ICE, an immigrant from Ecuador, I believe, Silverio Villegas Gonzalez. He was in a Subaru in a Chicago suburb when an officer shot him in the neck, causing the car to crash into a truck 100 feet away. They had just claimed that Villegas Gonzalez hit and dragged one of the officers a significant distance with the car as he tried to flee the scene and seriously injured the officer, who was shot and killed in self-defense. Mr. Villegas Gonzalez appeared to be unarmed, and officials have not said that he had any weapons or criminal record beyond traffic violations. However, body cam footage showed that the ICE agent describing his injuries as nothing major, contradicting the official narrative. Now here's something that's interesting. So this is talking about the ICE policy, but this also is relevant to just policing policy, law enforcement policy. So with the Renee Good situation, people are saying that, oh no, but if he was going to be run over, it made sense that he would have shot her. Like, apparently when someone is in a moving vehicle, right, it's not recommended to shoot at them. It's recommended you just get the hell out of the way. Kind of makes sense, right? So ICE policy prohibits officers from using deadly force merely to prevent the escape of a fleeing subject, but they may use deadly force if they have a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent danger of serious bodily injury or death to the officer or to another person. Policies for other federal law enforcement agencies say officers should not use deadly force against a moving vehicle in most cases and should attempt to move out of the way. And that was also the case with like the Minnesota policing guidelines that it says that like you shouldn't, shoot at like someone in a moving vehicle. They should, get out the way first, right? Um, at least two other people have died after an encounter with ICE since Mr. Trump took office and began an expansive nationwide immigration crackdown. At least 15 people have died in ICE custody, and this is from the New York Times. So again, this is why we are protesting. This is why people are speaking out about this. The sort of a horrible human rights violations coming from, ICE and just these like border patrol agents. It's just something that, yes, it's been a problem for a long time now, but it's magnified to such a insane level that a lot of people predicted this, but actually like predicting this and then actually seeing it, actually experiencing it, witnessing it, I should say. It's one of those things I'm like, dude, I wish I was wrong. I wish we were just exaggerating that, oh, it's just going to be the same policies as under Biden because ICE funding also increased under Biden. But it's increased by like tenfold or something. Let me see if I can get the charts later. But I want to move on to another case that also hits pretty hard, and that's Liam Ramos. So I'm sorry you read today that he was released. But I'm going to read a little bit about the case anyway, because I think it's I think it's interesting. So, Liam Conejo Ramos is a 5-year-old child that was detained by federal agents in Minnesota alongside with his father. The agents said that the boy had not been targeted or arrested. While he was detained in Texas, it was said that Liam was depressed, not eating well, and appeared lethargic. DHS said that Liam's father entered the U.S. illegally. However, the lawyers for both the fathers said that the two entered the country legally following rules for asylum seekers. And then, of course, a federal court blocked the deportation. And then yesterday, a federal judge ordered the release of 5-year-old Liam Ramos, right? And let me see if maybe I want to share what the court document said. Is there a way I could share it without... I don't want to show my account. Because you're not making this easier for me. I'm trying to like not dox myself here, dude. Or maybe there's just like another way I could okay. So I want to share the document here. I think I should. Okay, I didn't really need to make an account. I don't think so. I think I could have just. Okay, whatever. It's fine. Do you guys see it? I think this is going to be too small. Maybe I might have to make myself smaller here. I think that works. Is this like good quality? Oh my god, someone's actually like watching this right now. Oh god. Okay, cool. I'm wondering if like anyone's watching. How did you even know I was like streaming though? I didn't even share the link on my Discord server. Let me. Hold on. Let me see. Let me share the link of my Discord server. See. I'm probably just only gonna stream for 20 more minutes, but. Open my YouTube and saw you were there. Okay. Let me go back to sharing it. Okay, so I really liked reading this one though. So let's see. So this is the federal court. This is the federal judge's decision on the whole Liam Ramos situation. So let's see right here. Opinion and order of the court. Before the court is a petition of asylum seeker Adrian Conejo Arias and his 5-year-old son for the protection of the great right of habeas corpus. They seek nothing more than the modicum of due process and rule of law. The government has responded. The case has its genesis in the ill-conceived and incompetently implemented government pursuit of daily deportation quotas, apparently even if it requires traumatizing children. Damn, that was harsh. This court and others regularly send undocumented people to prison and orders them to be deported, but do so by legal procedures. Hold on. Just see how this looks. Okay. Apparently, it's also the government's ignorance of an American historical document called the Declaration of Independence. 32-year-old Thomas Jefferson enumerated grievances against a would-be authoritarian king over our nascent nation. Among others were, he has sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people, he has excited domestic insurrection among us, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, he has kept among us, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislator. We the people are hearing echoes of that history. I mean, yeah, this sounds very, I don't know. I do see some parallels here and there. I don't know. And then there is that pesky inconvenience called the Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to secure their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. No warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons to be seized. So don't worry, it's kind of sure it's not too long. Oh yeah, so this is like my favorite part. Okay, civics lesson to the government. Administrative warrants issued by the executive branch to itself does not pass probable cause muster. This is called the fox guarding the henhouse. The Constitution requires an independent judicial officer. Oh my god, I love that line. This is called the fox guarding the henhouse. Okay, this is really good. Accordingly, the court finds that the Constitution of these United States trumps the administration detention petitioner Adrian Conejo Arias and his minor son Liam. The great writ and release from detention are granted the pursuant to the attached judgment. Observing human behavior confirms that for among us the perfidious lust for unbridled power and imposition of cruelty in its quest knows no bounds and are bereft of human decency, and the rule of law be damned. Ultimately, petitioners, because of the arcane United States immigration system, return to their home country involuntarily or by self-deportation, but that result should occur through a more orderly and humane policy than currently in place. Philadelphia, September 1787. Well, Dr. Franklin, what do we have? A republic, if you can keep it. With a judicial finger in the constitutional dike, it is ordered. And then it's the signature, and then you can see here. It's a Bible quote here. Okay. I thought that was pretty spicy. I love that. Yeah, I mean, this shouldn't be a thing, but this is so fucking horrible that this even happened. Like, there's just no justification for it. Like, what was like the right wing talking about? Oh, that he was abandoned by his son, or well, I guess we have the statement by ICE or by DHS. So, um, yeah, because they said that he entered the country illegally, but he actually came here legally, using the asylum process, and they claimed that hold on that he was abandoned that basically he abandoned his son, but that's not actually what happened. Like he actually dropped off his son from school, and then that's when they like took them. Um, Let me see. All right, I have some chat. I hate that they were so calm about this. I know there's people who aren't, but I feel other precedent would be massive. Also, the court document. It is scathing. Yeah, I agree. It's scathing. Um, I guess I don't have anything else to add. I'm glad he's back. This was partially thanks to, of course, the sort of push by certain politicians like Joaquin Castro and Jasmine Crockett. I think it was actually Joaquin Castro who actually personally transported them back to Minneapolis, so that's good. Um, I'm trying to see if I have anything in my notes that I could discuss more, or if I could just maybe move on to the next thing. Okay, I guess I'll move on to what happened with the Minnesota man that was like left in his underwear in the freezing cold. Let me see if I can find that article. Okay, you guys can see it here. So, no, shit. A U.S. citizen says ICE forced open his door in his Minnesota home and remove him in his underwear after warrantless arrest. Hold on. I mean, if I share my notes, it's not a big deal, but I'm trying to like do it separately. So a U.S. citizen in Minnesota was taken out of his house in just his underwear and a blanket during self-freezing temperatures. I'm probably gonna butcher the name a bit, so forgive me, but Chong Lee Scott Dowell was woken from a nap when ICE banged on his door in St. Paul without showing him a warrant, and they broke the door. Agents denied his request to let his daughter-in-law show his identification as his 4-year-old grandson watched and cried. He's a U.S. citizen with no criminal record. Tal told the AP that only he, his son, daughter-in-law, and grandson live at the rental home. Neither they nor the property's owners are listed in the Minnesota Sex Offender Registry. The nearest sex offender is listed as living in the zip code more than 2 blocks away. And to make it worse, apparently he's Laotian, so his family fled communist Laos in the 1970s, only for them in today's world to be, randomly woken up from his nap and just taken by federal agents with like no justification or anything. He was returned within an hour, but this should never happen. And according to the article, he is actually planning to like sue here. But yeah, you can read about it. Like his family led Laos after helping the U.S. The family said that they are particularly upset by Chung Lee Style's treatment at the hands of the U.S. government because his mother had to flee the U.S. from Laos when communists took over in the 1970s, since she had supported American covert operations in the country and her life was endangered. Wow, that's insane. And this is the things he gets for, his mother helping soldiers that were on our side, and then later him, became naturalized citizen, and then just became, just a, another person just trying to care for his family in today's world. And I think also was the case that he hasn't had any criminal. Let me see, criminal. I don't think he has a. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, it says agents eventually realized that he was a U.S. citizen with no criminal record. Again, there's no justification for this. Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna end it here. I wanted to talk about the Epstein files, but I haven't done any reading on it. There's a lot of stuff we need to discuss, like what's going on with Venezuela, what's going on with Iran, what's going on with. There's still some discussion of like Israel-Palestine with the ceasefire, and then there's a border peace where basically anyone, like the worst possible people, can just join the border peace. I mean, Lukashenko from Belarus is part of the border peace. There's like a bunch of like other horrible people, but of course you also have like Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, Marco Rubio, and of course I'm enjoying the memes of like, oh, Vecna from Stranger Things is going to be part of the border peace. Darth Vader from Star Wars is going to be part of the border peace. Lord Voldemort from Harry Potter. So yeah, how long have I been streaming for though? I've been streaming for. Does it say? It should say somewhere. No. God, I'm such a boomer when it comes to this stuff. Like, I can't even figure out how to, like. I don't know if we can do this stuff now. It's been like, what, like almost 40 minutes, right? Okay. I don't know. Well, anyways, for like the 1 or 2 people that. Oh, it says right here. 37:25. Okay, so almost 40 minutes. Okay, well, for everyone here, you guys have a good rest of your day. If you're still in the United States, it's actually evening time here, so I'm gonna go sleep soon. But yeah, thank you, and